Thanks for the support as a channel member, Matt Dale. Here we go then, folks. Potentially 2 games away from European qualification with Barnsley. We're 2 points behind 7th place Everton with a game in hand and only 2 games left to play. I think if my maths works, which we know my history with maths on this channel, if we win both of today's games, we are in Europe. Easy peasy. Hello and welcome to Club 3, part 27 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have our final 2 games of the season, away against Sheffield United and at home against Birmingham. Since you were last with me, this is what's been going on. An absolutely ridiculous 4-1 win against Manchester United off the back of the last episode. It was just one of the maddest games of Football Manager I've ever been involved in, to the point where I was on the verge of picking Gudger for my World Cup squad with England because he played so well against Manchester United and just tore them apart. But of course, after that fantastic run of 7 points from games against Chelsea, Man City and Man United, we were always going to lose against Everton, who are the team who we're chasing for the 7th place spot. But we then did thump Newcastle, who were another one of our... they're not one of our challengers. I thought they were one of our challengers. They're not. So this is the situation. If we'd have managed to beat Everton, we'd already be pretty much home and dry. But as it is, we're 2 points behind them. Worryingly, they're no longer shown in a different colour to everyone. Surely 7th place is still going to be European qualification. After all this, is it just the top 6 that are going to get in? But we're fighting with Everton for 7th place. We'll try and finish 7th. If we do, we will celebrate, and then we will see if we end up in Europe. I'm less confident now looking at that. That colour has been all the way down there all season long so far. So I'm assuming it's something to do with the cup competitions or European competitions or something. Looking at this, Chelsea have already won the League Cup, I would assume. I'm not sure who's in the FA Cup final. Let's have a little look. FA Cup. Why can't I find the FA Cup? Is it not called the FA Cup? Emirates FA Cup, that's why. So FA Cup final is Tottenham against Chelsea. So I think it's just delaying that. And as soon as that match is played, that position will go to 7th place, I think. We'll see, I guess. Let's not worry about it. Let's just worry about winning our games. And this is the team we're putting out there for the local derby against Sheffield United. We've got Ryman in goal, a back 4 of Williams, Panzo, Tanganga and Tuther Williams. And we've got Stockbridge and Cerner in midfield. Denton, Andrin, Gudger, all behind Scuck up front. Let's get into the game and just cross everything. Cross fingers, cross eyes, cross the road. Just anything you've got nearby that's crossable, get it crossed, because I, for one, would like to end up in Europe. Apparently, we're the underdogs. I find that hard to believe. Sheffield United are down in 18th place. They're battling for Premier League survival, but somehow we're the underdogs in this game. I don't understand. I'm not going to argue too much. I like positioning as underdogs. We always perform quite well when we're underdogs, as shown in the games against Manchester City, Chelsea, Manchester United. Gudger, who was instrumental in all of those games, really, and Denton, who's now back from his injury and is back fully involved. All of these players, I think a lot of these youngsters might be a little bit disappointed that they're not going to the World Cup because they've had such good seasons playing for me, the England manager. But they're all a little bit too young. And as good as they are for me, I have to keep putting it in context that we're Barnsley and most of them don't even get in the England under-21 squad. It does make me wonder just how good some of these England under-21s might be, or whether they're being penalised by the England under-21 manager because they only play for Barnsley and they maybe need to go to a bigger club for reputation to get into those squads, and I'm perhaps unfairly overlooking them. But I don't know. I've got the choice of picking Jadon Sancho or Richard Gudger. So it's a little bit different when you're picking an England squad, isn't it? Raheem Sterling, Jadon Sancho or Richard Gudger. Gudger's good, but he's not as good as those two just yet. Denton now charging into the middle of the pitch from the left wing. He's forgot he's supposed to be a winger. Plays it into the path of Scuck, who looked a little bit offside, as he so often is. And yep, the free kick is given to Sheffield United. We've had a fairly bright start. without being overly threatening to their goal yet. But hopefully that all changes now as we try and build something in the midfield with Stockbridge and Cerner. Williams now trying to get into a crossing position. Can't get past his man though, but he's going to chase him down and try and win that ball back. This move's not over yet. Now it is. But Tanganga wins the ball back. Gudger flicking on to Cerner. Cerner's got loads of space to run into in midfield, and that's exactly what he does. Tries to play into the path of Denton. I think Denton, much like me, was expecting Cerner to shoot there and just wasn't ready. But that is a world-class tackle from Tanganga. My word, it was only yesterday's episode where I was talking about Tanganga maybe not being a Premier League quality defender, but he certainly looked like one there, didn't he? Williams has been ripped apart there, though, and they're in, and the other Williams can't. We had two Williamses, and neither of them could intercept that charging run from the Sheffield United player who's got the ball again here. This Smith looks quite decent, and Stockbridge has stayed down, so we need to find out what's up with Stockbridge. Another very strong tackle from Tanganga, who looks like he's going to get himself sent off today because he's well up for it. Local derby, he's been here a long time now, and even before us he was at Rotherham. He fully understands the landscape of Yorkshire football. And he wants to win this, not just to get us into Europe, not just to relegate Sheffield United, but because he just wants to beat Sheffield United. And for that, we love him even more. Skuck is in here. Skuck applies the finish, and there's a 19th goal of the season for Skuck. Puts us 1-0 up on 26 minutes. The 50th league goal of his career. We don't care about the 31 of them that happened for somebody else. The important thing is 19 goals for us, and it's another very tidy finish from Skuck, who is looking better and better all the time. And as things stand, that puts us into that maybe all-important 7th place that's now the same colour as the rest of the league. But we're not going to worry about that because I think it does become a European spot after the FA Cup is all said and done. Gudger with the cross and, didn't really lead to anything. And this Smith guy is proving very, very dangerous. We need to kick him hard. We need to get Williams over there, the other Williams, the tough tackling Williams, or Tanganga, one of our big hard lads, to go over there and just kick his knee inside out so that he stops causing us all these problems down that side of the pitch. Williams, ball over the top to Skuck. He's taking it a little bit wide, but he does have support in the middle. Plays it back to Denton. Andrin's in load of space. So Cerner. They pass it back between the two of them. The ball bobbles clear and Andrin is there. And there's his 4th goal since joining us back in January. And what an important goal it is. And it's 2-0 on the 38-minute mark. And Skuck did very well. Denton does even better, I think, to sort out what's going on there. And then we get a little bit of luck, and Andrin is there to tuck it away and continue to silence all the doubters down in the comments section. Championship player, my eye. He is a good Premier League attacking midfielder. And that was a good first half performance. And fingers crossed, we just keep doing what we're doing, because then we go into that final day knowing we just need a win and we finish in 7th. And then it's in the hands of the gods from there, whether that means Europe or not. There was never a chance we were going to break into the top 6. And looking at the top 6, we ain't breaking into that for years. It's going to be a long time before they are at a different level. They're the super clubs. They're the clubs with all the money, all the world-class players. It's going to take a lot to break into that top 6. So it does feel a little bit like if we do finish 7th, we are kind of topping out on what we can achieve with Barnsley. And I am open to offers from clubs across the world. But as we've found in Football Manager in recent years, this is the move that sometimes takes a little bit of time, because the game's super keen to give you the move from the Conference North into League One if you win 4 games in a row, because that's reasonable apparently. But you can finish in 7th place in the Premier League with a Championship relegation team 4 years in a row, and that team in 6th will still look at you like you pooed on their cornflakes. So yeah, we might have to go abroad at this point to make the step forward. But like I say, I'm not desperate to be applying for jobs. I'm going to wait and see what comes to me, because with this team of young English players that we've put together, I am excited to see. Is Tanganga getting his red card now? Oh no, just a yellow, was it? Excellent. Make changes. Ease off tackles, because you've been a bit rough today. But yeah, I'm happy to see how this young team develop, because I'm interested. I don't mind being here for another few years, but at the same time, I wouldn't turn down a move to a top 6 team in any of the major European leagues. That's the next step, whether it be in the Premier League, which is super unlikely, whether it be Spain or Italy or Germany or France. I think they're the sort of locations I've got in mind. Skuck with another lovely finish there. 20 goals now this season for him. And we've had a very good performance here against Sheffield United. Let's make a couple of changes. We probably need to take Stockbridge off. He picked up a knock in the first half, and we kind of just ignored that it was happening. But we've got Vivas sat there on the bench, who we should absolutely bring on. And I think I probably am leaning towards not trying to get Cerner back next year, just so that we can have Vivas and Stockbridge starting regularly, because they're my players that I want to develop. Cerner, as good as he is, we're just developing him for Manchester City, and that seems a little bit silly. I'm tempted to take Tanganga off. We've got Pieri down on the bench. I have a feeling he's getting sent off today. But can Ramsey play centre-back? Well, I never. He's a natural centre-back as well, is he? I signed him just as a right-back. He's not as good as Diaby, so probably shouldn't be bringing him on at centre-back. I don't think I'm going to touch him. I think I'm going to bring on Okoflex on that right-hand side, and we're going to leave the defence alone. I've talked about it recently. I'm really not a fan of changing my centre-backs at all in the middle of a game unless I need to, because it just seems to lead to disruption. But they are both on yellow cards, and we do have a little bit of previous for getting players sent off. Oh, I'm going to bring Pieri on for Panzo, which I know Tanganga is the one that I identified as probably needing to come off because he's more likely to lunge into a tackle, but he's having a better game than Panzo was. He's got more conditioning left, more energy left than Panzo has. So if we're going to make a change, that seems to be like the more sensible one of the two, but watch Tanganga get sent off anyway now, and Panzo probably wouldn't have done. Okoflex now on the right-hand side, trying to beat his man. He's obviously fresh onto the pitch, full of energy, trying to provide Skuck with his hat-trick, which would be a lovely way to finish off a derby match with a hat-trick from our bright young striker. There's a fly getting in my face, which that's unacceptable. Skuck, I think he's shooting from there, which probably should be discouraged. He'll probably argue that it was a through ball aimed at, I think that's Okoflex there. It definitely wasn't a through ball. He just hit it hard towards their goal. And to me, if you hit it hard towards their goal, that's a shot. Whether it's a stupid shot or not, it's a shot all the same. And Skuck is in behind here to finish off his hat-trick. He can't quite get it past the Sheffield United goalkeeper, but we do have a corner, and it is Vivas to take. Can he deliver onto Okoflex's head? I mean, he did, but the header from Okoflex, he was always under a lot of pressure from the defender, and the header goes well over. But importantly, we've won the match. It was a match we had to win. That's exactly what we've done. And now we go into that final game of the season knowing that a win is 7th place. It is completely in our hands. Therefore, much easier for us to bottle. Just the one change for the Birmingham game, then Okoflex comes in for Denton, so Gudger moves back over to the left-hand side again. One thing I did just want to show you as well before we get into the match, because we are going to be having the World Cup starting from tomorrow, so there is a little bit of England news leaking in, but this media report amused me, and I can't find it now. Where on earth is the media report? About there you go. England duty begins. So this is the 30-man preliminary England squad. The players selected in the FIFA World Cup preliminary squad have reported for international duty at the team's hotel. The following players have already been given permission to arrive late due to club commitments. There's 29 players in that list. I'm obviously managing my club today as well. There's one player turned up at the hotel, wondering where everybody else is. He must think he's gone to the wrong place. I can't work out who it is either. I thought it might be either Winks or Tuanzebe because they're both playing abroad, but Harry Winks is there. In fact, looking through, can anyone see Axel Tuanzebe? I think he is the... Oh, no, he's there as well. So I'm not sure who it is who's turned up at the hotel on his own, but I'm sure he's having a lovely day. Let's play our final game of the Premier League season and try and get into the Europa League. And warn you now, for those of you who don't make it right to the end of the video, which I know is some of you, you naughty rascals, you turn off as soon as the match is finished. I look at the analytics, and I don't want you asking, where's Barnsley for the next couple of days. There you go. We should be winning this with no problem at all. Because I am also the England manager and it's part of this save, starting tomorrow, it's going to be the World Cup with England, and that will be for as many days as it needs to be to get through the World Cup. If we go and win the thing, I think that's 7 or 8 matches, so that'll be 3 or 4 days of World Cup. Then we'll have the transfer window, then start the next season with Barnsley or whatever club we're doing as well. I'm going to have to sit here and do a very confused recording session where I'm sort of doing the transfer window and the World Cup videos all at the same time. So expect some costume changes in the transfer window. I know some of you don't like the international stuff, but understand it. We're coming back in a few days. You'll have your transfer window in a few days. Go catch up on the Bourne series while you're not watching this. Bourne has been awesome at the moment. I'm really enjoying it now. We're up into the National League North. So if you haven't give that one a try since the relaunch of it, you'll notice it's under new episode numbers. You can go and watch that for a few days while we're off at the World Cup. But the World Cup will be fun because unlike how it normally is when we do the World Cup in these series, because it's happening so early, it's lots of players who you'll know from real life and a little bit of an opportunity to manage them in non-league to legend, which I don't normally get to do. Andrew has scored, by the way. Not good enough for the Premier League, apparently. He's just scored again to put us 1-0 up against Birmingham. And that could be the goal that maybe secures us a spot in Europe. Obviously, we're not going to know until we know what happens in the FA Cup final, because it's still coloured wrong, which is very annoying. Andrin's in again, and he's scored again. Not good enough for the Premier League, Kev. I know. It's terrible, isn't it, that man's not good enough for the Premier League. 6 goals now since signing for us, and they're important goals as well. He single-handedly beat Norwich earlier on in the season. He was instrumental in the win against Sheffield United in the last match of this episode, and it looks like he's taken this game against Birmingham by the scruff of the neck, and he's going to win this on his own as well. I think he's got the potential to become a proper cult hero of this save, because he doesn't appear to be good enough, but when you actually watch him play, it's pretty evident that he is. He's one of those players that, for whatever reason, it must be hidden attributes, I guess, but he's playing above his attributes. He's playing above his star rating. He's better than what anybody thinks he should be. And no matter whether you think £18 million was expensive for a player who theoretically is only a championship player, 6 goals in, 10 or 12 games from attacking midfield since signing for the club, I think that's worth 18 million quid. If they're the goals that get us into Europe, that's worth 18 million quid. Even if he never plays for us, even if we sell him this summer for 4 million, take a massive loss. If his goals got us into Europe, then he was worth every penny. I'm very happy with that signing. I like him. He's my new friend. He's, a few people have said, the spirit of Rinomata living on. He may have left the club, but I still have a player in my 11 who you lot think shouldn't be there. But I think at least Andrin is showing that he absolutely should be there by constantly doing stuff like what he's done in this game. Everton must be losing. Everton are losing. I didn't see who they were playing. But we are looking very good for this 7th place finish at the moment, which I am like 90% confident this is it's going to be my first experience of Europa League 2 or whatever it's called. I don't even know its official name. Andrin's in for a hat-trick here, and that was a pretty poor finish. He could have squared it to Scuck as well. He's right up there alongside him. Probably should have squared it to him, but let's not criticise him because we all love him. He's our hero. But yeah, I'm assuming Everton do continue their bottle job that they're in the middle of, and we don't mess up from this very strong position today. I think it is going to be Europa League 2, which I've never been in before. I've never played in it in any save. I think this is the first year it's been in Football Manager, isn't it? So it's going to be interesting. I don't know how it works. Let me know down in the comments how that competition works. We've given away a penalty here, and hopefully Ryman's going to save it, because I would like to go into the last half hour not worrying too much. Ryman saves it. What a signing he's turning out to be as well. I still have to remind him constantly, he's not my permanent goalkeeper. He doesn't fit the criteria. He's not young. He's not English. He's not 5-star potential. But I think we paid 3 million quid for him to compete with Hilson. And he's come in and just made that goalkeeper spot his own. And poor old Hilson was a little bit disappointed he's not made it into the World Cup squad. But obviously he's not been playing for us since like the middle of February when Ryman forced him out of the team. Or forced him out of the team. I gave Ryman a go. He looked really good, so I just left him in. And he's not messed up yet. Occo Flex is in. What an attempt from Occo Flex off the inside of the post. And Faustino Angerin has a hat-trick. That's 4 goals in this episode now, 7 since signing. Occo Flex, I think we've got to... I think any doubts we had about that signing 2 years ago now for 12 million quid, he did look a bit of a flop initially, but slowly but surely, he is turning into a very, very good winger. I signed him as a striker, but it's pretty clear this man is a winger. Look, he's natural in all these positions. I don't think he'll ever be a striker, but out on the wing this season, he's had a much better year than he had for us previously. It'd be nice to see him break his rating through into a 7 next year with a little bit of consistency, but, you know, you can't have everything. We have still got Chong at the club, the king of inconsistency, and we probably need to get rid of him this summer. Right, Vivas is on. Vanna is on up front as well, so we can have another look at him. He's still not scored for us, still suffering a little bit from that offside goal, and I think it was on his debut. He had a goal disallowed for offside that never was. And he's not really recovered from it, I don't think. Everton have got a goal back against Bournemouth. It's now 2-1 there. But for as long as it's 3-0 here, it doesn't really matter what's going on there. Gudger is in here, has an effort from... I mean, it was an awkward angle. And to be fair, I would have rather seen him put that into the path of Vanna. And let's just give Vanna a goal somehow because he needs one. If he can grab a goal today, I think he'll be a different player for us next year. He'll have had his settling in period. I'm tempted to take Panzo off again, just after saying I don't like doing it. But... several reasons. He's on a yellow card. He's the worst player currently on the pitch. And Pieri is playing his final game for the club because I doubt Everton are going to let us have him on loan again when he's a player who's been fairly instrumental in us finishing above them. That being said, Everton are having a storming comeback in their game against Bournemouth. Now 3-2 up. Obviously, we're still 3-0 ahead. So, like I said before, as long as we're ahead, it doesn't matter what they do there. But they are giving it a go. There's only 1 point in it now. So if we do manage to self-destruct from here, then sad faces all round. But hopefully it's not going to happen. Oh, God. We've all played Football Manager before. You know how we all know it's not scripted, I think. We all know that. But you know how sometimes it really feels scripted? Is anyone else absolutely convinced right now we're going to finish 8th? To the point where I'm tempted to change the system. Oh, God. They're attacking again. It's happening, isn't it? It's going to end 3-3 here. And we're going to fall down to 8th place. The game heard me talking about playing in Europe. It's the 89th minute and we're still 2 goals ahead. Come on, for goodness sake. Williams gets it clear. I shouldn't be this nervous at 3-1 in the 90th minute. We should be home and dry. But we've all been here before. Vivas plays it out to, or looking for Gudger, but he can't get there. Williams is there to intercept though. Andrew and plays it out to Gudger. Gudger is through. And once again, I mean, I know he's an inside forward. I know he's right-footed. I know he's there to cut inside and shoot with his right foot. But he just doesn't seem very good at it sometimes. But thankfully, the panic is over. We have won the match. We have finished 7th. And now we just have to wait and see. Oh, there you go. It's changed colour. Have we now qualified for Europe? Do we get any kind of confirmation that we've qualified for Europe? So Manchester City have won the Premier League. Yeah. Doesn't mention anything at all about us qualifying for Europe. I know I've talked about him a lot today. Now worth £26 million, I'd like to point out. That, by any definition, is a very good signing for less than 18 million quid. We get a bunch of money. The board are delighted that the team have qualified for the UEFA Europa Conference League. We're in Europe, boys and girls. I'm surprised we've not got... Do we get budgets? Now we know we're in Europe and we've finished 7th. It'd be interesting to see the budgets as we've got a few days wait for the transfer window. Let's just see what our budgets might be. I know I've got a friendly with Ghana coming up. I need to get to the hotel with whoever's been there on his own. It's getting into the end of season awards stuff, which is obviously going to be part of that transfer special. So we'll find out the budgets in the transfer special. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.